Hello, everybody, and welcome back to COFY Cast, episode 11. Back with the OG gang. We've got Glenn, Marco, and Mark. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to COFY Cast.
We are happy to have you back, Glenn. It's been a hot minute since the RE episode.
Dude, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
We are
good
happy.
God of War discussions last week,
Yes.
for those of you that can make it. Very engaging game, and I'm glad one of our bestest friends are having such a great time with that one.
Oh, absolutely.
So, exciting.
Yes. And actually, Glenn gets the absolute pleasure of kicking off this week's episode because we got a special segment. We're going to be talking about gaming nostalgia, particularly a couple of specific games, and Glenn will be leading us in with this topic about Hollow Knight, and we'll kind of branch off from there about games we enjoy now that we enjoyed when we were kids.
Yeah. Definitely. I was talking about this with Mark and Mina privately on Tuesday, but there is nothing more fun in a game than realizing you aren't ready for something, stepping away from it, coming back, and just crushing it. So I had recently picked up Hollow Knight, and I had played that on release as a kid on the Switch. I was not too fond of the Switch controls. Should have used the D-pad a little bit more, but I'm a joystick user, which I think caused some issues. But I'm much better now as a hand-eye coordinated adult, and I'm beating bosses that I literally have not beat before, because as a kid they were simply just too difficult. And it got me thinking, and I thought it was a good idea for the boys to share some experiences they may have with that. Some examples I just went through were the Lost Kin on Hollow Knight. I've never beat them before. No Eyes on Hollow Knight. I've never beat them before either, but I did just this past weekend. So very exciting stuff. I think it is a great way to show how much better of a gamer you are becoming when you tackle feats like that. So, yeah, I would love to hear some others that you guys have on the top of your mind.
Actually, I don't think I've shared this story, at least on the podcast yet, but that story reminded me of Dark Souls 3, because I probably started that game shortly after it came out. I was probably early in college. And I picked up that game. People were talking about it, and I've never played a Souls game before. So, I booted up, you do the little intro area, and then you're hit with the boss fight, right?
Yeah.
Forgot his name.
What's his name?
It's
the snake guy.
Gundyr.
Yeah. Ludus Gundyr.
Yeah. So, I was at home at my parents' house, and I was playing it. I didn't play too much, but maybe it's been maybe half an hour or 40 minutes. And I was struggling. He was so hard. And my brother, who's 6 years younger than me, he walks into the room. He's like, "Oh, you're playing Dark Souls." I'm like, "Yeah, it's really tough." And mind you, he's never played a Souls game either. Anyway, right? I'm like, "I've been on this boss for a while now. This is really hard. I don't know if I like this game." And he's like, "Oh, I don't think it's that hard. Give me a try." And I'm like, "All right, big guy, you do it then. Let's see how you take a crack at it." And I think he beats it in 2 tries. I watch him beat it. So my character is standing there, boss defeated, bonfire's there, and he was like, "There you go," and he walks away. I uninstalled that game and refunded it.
There you go.
That's so unbelievably valid.
And I didn't come back to it till probably a year, less than a year ago, because I played Dark. I went back. I was going through I played Elden Ring, and I'm like, okay, actually that was actually really fun, and I should go back and play all the other FromSoft games. And I beat Dark Souls 1, which is now one of my favorite games, probably a top 3. And I gave then did Dark Souls 3. Haven't beaten it, but I'm 90% there. I just literally, for me games, I get to the end of close to the end of the game or the last act of a game, and I'll drop it after playing it nonstop for 2 weeks, and then I'll just drop it. I don't know why I do this, but I always do it. And I would say I liked, and obviously having played a lot more games since when I first picked up Dark Souls 3, having beaten Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1, this time around it was definitely a lot easier. I don't actually. I mean, I'm sure some bosses gave me quite the challenge, but nothing like insurmountable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say that would be the example that comes to mind. Dark Souls 3, which I will eventually beat the last boss, and what is it, the unnamed king or whatever his name is, and Sister Freed, and all the other remaining bosses I have left.
Yeah.
Godspeed, bro.
Yeah.
That game's
Nameless
hard.
King will
Nameless King,
beat
not
it.
unnamed king.
That is
The unnamed
that
king.
is a tough
The
hit.
Great
unnamed
value,
king.
nameless king.
We're not
Budget.
I promise he's played the game.
I can go next if you're good with that, Marco.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give a very specific example separate of a topic we will cover later, which is League Classic, because I could talk about that. But I think a better example in modern memory, this is not very recent. This is like past 5 or 6 years, something like that. Around when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, so probably would have been 7 years ago, actually, maybe. I replayed all of the games again because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. And I distinctly remember going through every single one of those games again. I had very different opinions on certain stuff and how hard they were than when I was a kid. Particularly, I remember it took me a week to beat the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was a child. And I beat it in like one sitting when I went back to that game as like an adult, pretty much. I was like 19 and I was like, oh, this is a joke. I can't believe I was like upset about this back when I was a kid. Like, I remember I left my PlayStation on for a whole week, and my mom would be like, "Why did you leave this on?" I'd be like, "Don't touch it!" Like, I can't, because for the uninitiated, the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 2 is like an 8-phase boss fight, and if you reload the save, you start from the first phase, but it gives you checkpoints at each phase because it's like so complicated. And so I got into the final phase and had the checkpoint. I was like, no, don't turn the PlayStation off. You can't. I'll have to restart. I'll never make it back. But yeah, that boss fight was not as hard as I remembered it. I remembered it being like awful. It's still pretty challenging. It's easily, I still think, one of the hardest boss fights in the franchise. Although granted, it's not as hard as some of the stuff in 3. Specifically 3's DLC as well. But yeah, stuff that I remember being super challenging in those games, like the lock-on with the camera and the parrying and all that stuff in Kingdom Hearts, none of that was hard anymore for me. And I think some of that's reaction speed, and some of it's also just paying attention. I don't know if anybody else had this scenario as a kid with games, but I used to just not read anything. If it wasn't voice acted, I didn't take it in. And so it was definitely a very challenging moment for me at certain points in Kingdom Hearts, especially in the final boss fight where you have to mash 2 separate buttons. And I definitely didn't read the prompt that said you had to use the second one, so I used to just mash the one. I'd be like, man, Riku dies instantly. It's like I'm not deflecting with him at all.
That's crazy.
It's just so funny how your brain develops and is better at problem solving as you get older. So that would be my pick, I think, in modern memory, of being like, wow, I breezed through that game and it took me months when I was a child. Definitely.
Yeah, that boss fight is it's one, like, it holds up today as one of the coolest boss fights.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
I love the part with the lasers that surround
the laser
you.
parry.
You have
to spam triangle and X to deflect on Riku and Sora at the same time. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's really, I do have very vivid memories.
The opening attack combo too. I remember dying to that so many times as a kid because you have to do the perfect dodges with triangle. Remember, because you hit the that stupid dialogue he has at the start. We shall go together, and he throws you in the air, and it's like, oh, I hope you're ready to mash on the exact rhythm, or you're dead.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the final boss of KH2.
Yeah.
You're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Xemnas, Ultimate Xemnas.
Yep.
At the end.
Yep.
He has lightsabers for weapons, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Yeah, just straight up.
Literally.
For me, one of the things I could never wrap my head around, I was a big rock band Guitar Hero
Ooh, that's a good
kid
pull.
growing up. I still very vividly remember that Christmas when I unwrapped the gift from my parents, and it happened to be Guitar Hero 1 with the the guitar controller for the PS2. And I loved it. I mean, like from the very beginning, I loved it, and I got hooked on these like guitar style rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
But and obviously you start on easy, right? You go through the whole song list, set list on easy. You advance, you get used to it, right? And then, once you beat it once, you can do medium,
Yeah.
hard, and expert. And obviously easy is easy. I got to medium, and it gets progressively harder with the faster songs, but still very doable. And I had a great time with it. As a kid, medium is where I would stop
Yes.
advancing. I could
Absolutely.
not, for the life of me, wrap my head around the fact how to reach the orange button consistently or fast enough for the song, and then I would start messing up, and I'll be and I also did not, like you said, Willis. It's like
Mhm.
I there were like certain things that the game taught you, and I just didn't register it was teaching me like
Yeah.
something new. And one of the things was the strumless notes where all you had to do was fret
Yes.
the
I definitely never
the
understood
neck.
that as a kid either.
And I didn't understand. I thought every note you just had to strum, and some of the notes were stacked so close. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way you can strum that." And I realized it's no. You just fret it there.
Mm.
Um, and years and years later, after kind of the whole craze for Guitar Hero and Rock Band kind of died
Mhm.
out, because I got all the way up to Guitar Hero 3, and then I moved on to Rock Band 1 and 2. And then I just kind of, it kind of fizzled out from there. But years and years later, there's nowadays there's like these free alternatives like Clone Hero,
Yeah.
right? And I started playing it in my free time, and I watched this YouTuber called Asai, who is a very good Guitar Hero streamer, and
Shout
he
out.
does incredible. The guy is like a magician on
He
how
is.
he
He's
plays
awesome.
such difficult. And the crazy thing is, he will play these extremely difficult, precise songs that are ridiculously difficult, and he'll also look over and talk to the chat at the same time,
It's so impressive. I don't know how he does it.
it's really incredible. Like he can multitask and while still hitting FCs on these ridiculous songs. And one thing I learned from watching him that I would have never wrapped my head around as a kid is that when you instinctively have the guitar in your hand, you put index finger on green,
Mm-hmm.
then it's the red, yellow, blue, and then the orange. I used to think it was like, oh, I have to reach down
I know exactly what you're
with
gonna
my
say. Yeah.
pinky. I realized from these professional Guitar Hero players, you don't do that. That's the wrong way to do it. It's you start one fret down,
Yeah, because it's easier to
and
move
the
your index finger.
green is easier to reach with your index finger than it is for you to do your pinky with the orange.
Mm.
And it's just like it's something so simple, and it blew my mind because I started playing like that. It took some adjustment, right? Because it's
Getting
muscle
used to.
memory how you played it
Yeah.
originally. But then I started doing that, and I started to play songs on hard because I was just like, oh, now the orange is like a non-factor anymore,
Yeah.
and all you do is just reach up and hit green whenever it shows up. So I was like, wow, that's incredible. So yeah, it is one of those things of like you get older and something that seems so impossible, you revisit it and you just think about it for like a nanosecond, and you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, Guitar Hero was like a mystery. I could never figure. I'm like, why is there even a hard or
Yeah.
expert? Like, how do you play that?
How
That's
is it
impossible.
possible?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
just so many things that it's hard because you've just been doing it wrong, not because it was hard. And then when
Yes.
you
Yeah,
Oh,
realize it, you're
yes.
like, oh my god, like this
yeah,
is how you were
Literally.
supposed to do it the whole time, and you're
I
like, I
remember
can't
exactly.
believe.
this is gonna make Glenn crash out. This is another good example for me. When I first played Dark Souls, I had a friend of mine who is not. I don't talk to him anymore. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that. I don't talk to him anymore. And he was notorious for giving bad advice and like in games and like bad information. And he told me that in Dark Souls, he's like, vitality is your health, Stamina is just how quick you can run. Didn't mention that's how often you can swing too. Just how quick you can run. He told me
How
strength
quick.
is the damage when you hit with a weapon, and dex is how quickly you can dodge.
Holy
so
shit.
I was like, yo,
Wow.
I gotta be dexterous, bro. So my build looked like shit.
That's crazy.
And I was like, man, this game's hard. I can only swing like 3 times. I'm really weak.
That's crazy.
So I had like a miserable experience the first time I played that game. I did beat it, but it took me like months. And I was just like, wow. And then I like never went back to them again. And then years later when Elden Ring was coming out, I revisited all the games and I was like, oh, I totally got bad advice.
Yeah.
I had the worst advice possible.
I know when me and my friends were doing the Sekiro race, I was surprised people don't understand the difference between a block and a perfect parry. Like those perfect parries are a necessity to get to like advance in that game. You can't just straight block and be good because you're gonna lose the posture. There's 2 different kinds of blocks. There's the perfect parry and the block. And so I was so surprised at how many people needed to like learn that. Because to me that was just like realizing there's 2 different type of blocks, like in the beginning of the game. Another funny thing with Sekiro is my friend Elliot, who has chimed in on the podcast a few times as well, was so convinced that the key kanji, like the Abunai kanji, that shows you can't block a move, he was convinced that there was a different kanji for if you needed to jump the attack or just dodge the attack.
He's like, dude, I swear.
He was convinced that the game was harder because he didn't understand Japanese.
Right.
And we had to convince him. We had to be the one to show him, like, no, the kanji is the same regardless of the move and how you have to defend against it. Like, you're not losing your mind here. Like, this is the one kanji. So once he learned that, he was the second one to beat the game. And, lovely game, that Sekiro, man.
Right, so is there like a tell for that then? Like when you jump or you
there's not like a physical tell, like a whole kanji being different.
No, but the enemy
like yeah.
Exactly.
So for example, like Genichiro, the biggest example, he'll put his sword like up ready to swipe. You have to jump that, or he'll tuck it low, ready to stab. You can't jump that one. You have to dodge to the side or dodge into it to Mikiri counter.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, there are little tells where you'll definitely realize, oh, I should have jumped that. If it's a swipe, you jump. If it's a stab, you Mikiri counter. If you have that unlocked, but if you don't unlock that first, what are you doing? Get Mikiri counter first thing out the gate.
Yeah,
so many people use that move.
No, I can wait. I can wait till the end of the game, right? I don't need to unlock that. I'll learn it then.
I mean.
Wait, that reminds me.
Counterless?
A quick side note. Bringing back to Dark Souls. So I had a sword and shield build where I would just tank everything. And that got me through a lot of difficult bosses with ease. Like Manus, easy. He would do his jumps and I would tank it. Easy. So I did the DLC first before beating the game. So did the DLC. I actually had more trouble with the dragon than Artorias or Manus, which was I think interesting. That one took me more tries. But then I got to the end, right? And Dark Souls is known for the end boss. It's more symbolic than being like an actual fight where you're just
down.
Usually,
this, end boss is like a pathetic loser.
Right. It's like you go in and it plays the music and it's just a shell of its former self and you just sort of kill it and the game is done, right? That was not my experience. He was kicking my ass and Glenn was watching and it's like, Mark, do you know how to parry? And I'm like,
I remember this.
No, I've just been tanking everything this whole game. And he's like, it's a lot easier if you parry. So I was learning how to parry in Dark Souls 1 on the final boss, the final fight I had for the game. And I learned enough that I could beat him and the game was done. But
that's funny.
That just reminded me like things you learn very late.
As From Software intended.
Exactly. So When I play
Literally.
Sekiro, I'm sure I don't need to really learn it until then.
Yeah,
Absolutely
exactly.
not.
If it works for Dark Souls 1, man, you go off.
Hey, there
Just
you go.
dodge, bro.
Just give me a shield in that game, and I'm good. I'll just find a shield, and I'll be good with Sekiro.
Yeah,
Yo, that's what I'm talking about. The Umbrella Shinobi art.
dude. I swear, like, it's a thing with Souls games where you just don't realize mechanics, like you miss them. Like, Meme Gremlin in chat was talking about Bloodborne being their favorite, and it reminded me that when I first played Bloodborne, I had only beaten Dark Souls 1, and it was like a free PS Plus game. So I downloaded it, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll play it. I was like, oh, I beat Dark Souls, maybe I'll play it. I had no idea you could parry with the gun.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, it's just like having ranged attacks. That's all it is. So I was like, man, this is tough. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
some of these combos are insane. And then when I came back to the game years later, I was like, oh, you can parry with that? That's so much better. And the game, it was like a whole new world. I was like, oh my god.
That is hilarious.
Because I was literally like, because I got the shotgun when I first played it. I remember thinking like, this is so useless. If I'm supposed to like range zone them, like, this doesn't reach far enough. It makes me just seem like an idiot, but it's true. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Reading is fundamental.
Exists. It is.
I
You got
also...
something to say, Marco?
Oh yeah, he was looking like he's ready.
No, listen, I love Dark Souls. Haven't played Elden Ring, but I do love Dark Souls. I played everything else. Played one of the it's actually funny now that we're talking about revisiting games. One of the first PS3 games I ever got was GTA 4. Yeah.
Ooh,
and the second game was Demon Souls.
Wow.
Was Demon Souls, and I wasn't familiar. I just thought it was an RPG. I thought it was like a fantasy game, like just whatever, right? And it is, but I didn't know these Dark Souls. What would become very standard Dark Souls practices, right? And I was just like, this game is so fucking difficult because I'm so used to platformers and action games where it's like, I can attack as much as I want. I can dodge as much as I want. There's no consequence. Also, like every Dark Souls game, every Souls-like, I guess is the official term, it doesn't hold your hand and tell you where to go. It doesn't say, go this way and go talk to this person or whatever. So when I first played Demon Souls, I couldn't finish it, not because it was like too difficult. I just got lost. And I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing? What's going on?
That used to happen to me all the time.
No one has told me anything about this game. I'm going to put this down. I'll come back to it later. And it took me like something like 10 years to eventually revisit it. And then I was like, you approach it. You're familiar, right? It's like watching Seinfeld. It's like watching Seinfeld after you've watched decades of other sitcoms. And you go, okay, I get it. I can see where this is going. I can understand. This is not unfamiliar territory anymore. So, I'd already played Dark Souls by then, Dark Souls 2. I think Dark Souls 3 had just come out. I was playing that. And I went, oh, shit. I should probably play Demon Souls again and see how that goes. And yeah, it's, yeah. I finished it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could see how a child would probably find this difficult and complicated, but as an adult, it was like, all right, this is a fun time.
Another thing I was gonna say on the Bloodborne comment. Bloodborne was the first one I officially played and beat out of all the Souls, by the way.
Ooh, okay.
And so, admittedly, I didn't know how scaling worked. I had been using the Chikage, completely oblivious that it fully upgraded has an S rank blood tinge scaling.
Yeah.
And I had failed to give a fuck about blood tinge. I just did. I didn't
You're like,
really
I don't
see
care,
it as a useful stat. I put so much into it was I believe it was still called endurance.
Yeah.
And my high stat endurance created the name Hardlock that I have with my other friends.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's the funniest story in the world. But the fact that it took the entire game to realize, oh, because this has an S in blood tinge, I should be putting everything into blood tinge. When I started doing that, oh my god, I was wrecking house. So it's stuff like that, those little things that like Marco said, where it's like if I just read that blood tinge had an S scaling, and the early game could have been completely different for me.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to add to the funny Bloodborne gun parry story.
No, it's a good point though.
Yeah.
It used to never occur to me in general in games to do builds. For
Yeah,
some
that's a good
reason my
point.
brain just didn't process that. Like it was like, oh, you need to consider a certain way for like, you know, setting up this character, right? I would just
Yeah.
and I used to not again, it's reading. Really a lot of like the struggle as a kid is reading. Because I remember playing like Dragon Quest. I think the first time I realized I had to kind of read stuff in games, I played Dragon Quest 9 on the DS. Shout out, great game. I used to just give characters like whatever weapon I thought looked cool. Like you would do good with a staff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that character is not a healer. You should not be using that staff. And I would be like, nah, give him the staff, right?
You look
And
cool
I'd be
with
like, man, these
staff.
bosses are hard. And I think at some point I finally realized I was like, oh, this character shouldn't even be holding this item, right? Like this would be better if this was on this. And I think the first time I really locked in on all that was FF7. When I was like, oh, the materia system, I should be giving healing materia to Aerith, right? Cloud should be doing like magic damage and like crits, and Tifa should just, I don't know, Tifa does like max damage for the gambling ultimate. So,
Well, you know, I feel like because part of me feels like it should be a balance because what made some of those games fun as a kid was not knowing what you were doing. And you
yes,
were just getting a
absolutely.
cool sword, or you were completely unoptimized, but you looked sick, or you were just doing all this shit.
Yeah,
Dude, that was
And
definitely me.
and then you compare that to, because in my case, I did this for Elden Ring. It was my first Souls game, and I was looking everything up. You know, you had all those YouTube videos, best OP build, farm location, and I was like, okay, let me slaughter all these like frog people, get all these souls, get this blade, upgrade it, and yes, I had like this crazy build, and you know, like was all these bosses were a joke. And then I think after the fact, you know, sort of like after I beat Elden Ring, I was kind of thinking to myself, and I'm like, I kind of wish I didn't look anything up. You know, I kind of wish I was kind of clueless and struggling. And I mean, but it's a balance because if you're too clueless, then it's like the game is
you're
hard for
miserable.
reasons that you don't know. But then the other end of it is like everything is like a meta. A game comes out and 2 days later there's like the meta build, and you're like, okay, I gotta do the meta build, otherwise I can't play this game. And then I'm like, this it's probably somewhere in the middle where there's still a lot of that exploration and experimenting aspect of it, but also not to a degree where you're like hindering yourself. So
Exactly.
you know, I don't know. I kind of do like that sort of clueless, you know, like you're a kid and you don't know what this does, but it looks cool. Actually, it sucks, but hey, who cares? You look cool and you're just playing with your
right.
friends. And it's like, look at this cool new sword or armor I got. And it's like, you're not supposed to be wearing that with this weapon. I'm like, I don't care, you know. I kind of miss that.
Right.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's just fun. It's like it's the same as like experiencing a book for the first time at the end of the day. And you know, you want these things to come across as like something you did.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
nobody else held your hand. Um so yeah, there is something beautiful about just learning, you know?
Absolutely. That's
My
a
2 cents
huge
on it.
portion, I think, of certain games' appeal is like learning as you go. I think that's the reason some people complain about like handholdiness in games too. Although I admit I definitely was the kind of person who needed handholding for certain titles at some point. Some of it too, I think, is when you're a kid. A lot of games that are maybe, I think, okay, I'll use this as an easy example, right? The jump from when I was a kid loving Pokemon into enjoying Persona as an adult and Shin Megami Tensei in general. When you're a kid and you play those games, it's like, oh, simple. Water beats fire, fire beats grass, grass beats water, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's really all that matters in those games, right? just the countering. You know what I'm saying? So I pick up a turn-based game as a teenager, and I'm like, oh, dude, I got this. I've been playing Pokemon since I was a kid. And it's like, nah, that shit's way harder. Because they've been teaching you a dumbed-down version of how that works. Because it's meant for a simpler game. And then you play like a really full, like, oh, this is built for like a wider audience, like turn-based game. You're like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm so lost, you know?
Right.
It's trying to teach me how to do like technicals and stuff in Persona 5. And I'm like, I don't understand that. What do you mean? Stun them and then hit them with a melee. It took me forever to understand that. But once you get it,
they introduced talking to women.
They did. That was really hard.
Games,
yeah,
which is extremely difficult. There's a very large barrier to entry when it comes to talking to women and not fumbling them, which is very scary. I didn't know they had horror elements in Persona.
Dude, it's horrifying.
Yeah,
I failed every QuickTime event.
Yeah, I feel like the weekend.
The weekend. Dude, him like meme posting those games is so fun. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing, you know, like talking to a woman now you can look up a guide online. But back in the day
you could not do that.
Back
Rock,
in the
help
day,
me
you know,
talk to her.
Right. I think part of what made those games more difficult when you were a kid is not everything was online, right?
Exactly.
So there was even if you were doing something wrong, even if you looked up best build or guide, you would end up with like the forums. You guys remember those?
Absolutely.
Forums, and there would be people talking about it.
Game facts,
exactly.
like a shit ton.
Yeah, so it's like stuff also used to not be online. So it's like you had no choice but you were either playing it as a kid and trying to figure it out. Oh, or even better, like those books, remember? Like the guide, those books that they used to
the old game manuals. Yes.
The gaming guides. And I remember I would even get some for games I didn't play and I would read them. I'm like, wow, this game looks cool. And like never played.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, this is cool. And it's just like, you know, nowadays it's a game comes out in a day later, or even like a couple hours later, there's guides out. You know, there's already established wikis and all that, which is, I mean, it's fine, right? But then it's like hard to avoid. It's harder to avoid that, right? So you have to be a lot more diligent playing games like quote unquote blind. You know, and that was like the problem I had with Elden Ring. Is, you know, by the time it came out, it was COVID. Everyone was sitting down at home and just playing the game. And guides, it was guides extraordinaire. You know, everything about that game was. I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like if you're going to get into one of these big games, you have to play it. Like GTA 6 will be coming out soon, right?
Yeah,
you got to be playing that day one. Otherwise, your YouTube algorithm will already tell you like best money making strats. You know, week one. It's like
it'll be a thumbnail being like Jason's death scene. Oh,
right. You avoid the spoilers and. So it's like it's a lot harder to avoid, you know, spoilers and like all these guides. And then the problem is once you see a guide, you're like, well, I don't want to not do it, because now why would I do it inefficiently when I know like there's a better way to do it, you know? So it's like it's one of those things. Once you see it, then you can't like unsee it, right? You have to be like, really diligent when you play like a game blind and experience it. Just the way you want it. Like, you know, I know Mina in chat was talking about God of War, you know, mentioned. So we'll do a quick mention of God of War here. She's not looking anything up, you know.
No, she's not.
Which she didn't do for other games, but she was committed and she's, you know, playing it on the
very
mode,
proud of her.
Not looking anything up. And you know, that's how I want to, you know, when the next, you know, hopefully I'll try to do this when GTA comes out, but you know, try my best not to look anything up and just experience all those things organically in game. You find stuff on your own. I've always had trouble with that, especially these days when new games come out. I'm already looking stuff up. Like I'm gonna like, okay, where's the coolest weapon? Where's the most low level OP weapon? Where do I get it? And then just steamroll the game. You know,
spoilers are so prolific throughout stuff now. It's very tough to avoid things. Like I know for a fact I will be radio silent next year when FF7 Revelation comes out. It will be like it will be just hilarious. Just completely, I'm like, you're not going to be able to reach me for that weekend. I'm going to be gone because I don't want to be spoiled on, you know, what they're going to do.
Right. I think a good game won't, like, I'll use collectibles for an example and stay on God of War. In God of War, there are the Odin Ravens, right? you know you're close to one based on the noise that it makes.
Yes, exactly.
So stuff like that is so helpful for people that don't want to use a guide. It's like, hey, I don't want to look around this jam-packed, like, texture slop distance to try and find a raven. Make it make some kind of noise. And when they did that, I just felt like, oh my god, thank you so much that they did that. Even or just mark it on the map like No More Heroes did for the balls. The balls put an orange square on the map when the location is there. So something small like that is even so helpful.
Perhaps foreshadowing a later topic too with No More Heroes.
Yes.
I think another good example that's fun too, even though it's more challenging when you're a kid, I think experiencing things blind that you would maybe find easier now was such a magical experience. I think half of the reason, a good example actually, I'll pull back to Pokemon again. For the people who've played Pokemon, but even if you didn't, you may remember this. So like the peak of Pokemon in my eyes was like the DS era. That was when it was selling the most. That's when it was very popular. One of my personal favorites is Platinum, but Platinum inspired them to do the DS remake of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which are the biggest Pokemon games, the longest ones. You actually reach like level 90 by the end and stuff like that. It's the longest game, and famously that game has a secret boss, which is to fight Red from the original Pokemon. Now that's very well known now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's there's guides on how to do it and where to do it. When you were a kid, the mystique around that was crazy. I remember coming to lunch, and my friend going, dude, I saw this thing, and if you go to the top of the mountain, you fight the guy from the original game. And I was like, no way. That's crazy. And then you go home and do it, and it was mind-blowing. It was such a special experience. Awesome. And I feel like a lot of that is gone. It's definitely like, I don't know what to do, and you look it up. But like the magic of a game is like learning it, That's why it's so good to play it offline, like Mark had said.
Well, see, that game is also a good example of something else, because I never played Gold or Silver or the newer ones. I think I got it and I played it a bit, but one thing about those games, I remember you had your initial region, right? But I think once you beat that, you can then go to Kanto, which was from like the original Pokemon games. And it's like, imagine discovering that. You don't know anything about the game. You thought you beat it. You beat the initial map, right? And then it turns out, actually, there's like the other region from the past game that you can go back and play. I don't know if I'm correct on that, but I think
you are. Because in my opinion, as much as I'm very biased in that, I think my personal favorite's Platinum, just because I like the Sinnoh region. I like Giratina as a legendary. I like what that game does. I think objectively the best Pokemon game is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's because of that. If you've played the original and then you go and then you beat, the main region, you go back to Kanto and all the old characters are there. They're grown up or it's changed. You can run into them. You get to see their stories continued. No other Pokemon game really does that. I mean, Black and White 2 kind of does it with the championship runs post-game, but it's the only one that like expanded upon a story of another game. And I just thought that was so awesome. Like I've always thought that was so cool. And then, of course, challenging Red at the end after he hints at you after you beat the gyms.
A similar example was, correct me if I'm wrong, but also in Red Dead Redemption 2, where you can go back to the original map.
Yeah.
Right? I know there isn't that much in there, but imagine discovering that, But see, the fact that I know that, and I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, shows that, like,
it goes deep, bro.
It's like, it was already online. I already found out about it. So I will never, get that surprise, because it's like, oh, that's, I saw comments or a video about, oh, you can see the original map. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I won't find that out on my own, Well, not that it would really hit hard anyway, because I didn't even play the first one, but it's like, imagine you play the first one, then you play the second one, and then in the second one, you discover, oh my God, I can go back to the first one. Like, stuff like that.
It's pretty awesome.
I feel like it's so good, but it's also so hard to hide these days, these like massive secrets. And then going back to Elden Ring, that's why you have to play these games sort of early, because when that game came out and everyone was playing at the same time and you had to be there, and then it's like, oh, what's down this well? And then it keeps going down, and all of a sudden you're in an underground city, and like that's not the only one. That sense of exploration, like I love it when games do that, but you have to like play it on release, otherwise eventually you'll find out about it, and then it won't be a surprise.
I had that happen to me with Persona 4 when I played it for the first time. Loved it. Played it post 5 because that was the first one I'd played, and I still think it's an amazing game, but the magic of playing that game, not knowing who the killer is so special. And I just absolutely knew. Like, I was a little too involved in the community at the time, and it really sucked when they're like, who could be doing this? And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, them. I already know. And it kind of kills the magic of some of that. But I can imagine, it was a lot more mind-blowing back in the day when people just wouldn't see something like that,
Yeah. I think stuff like that is why I'm so happy. Like, I'm dumb as fuck, right? And so there's a lot of short-term memory loss going on in my head. And a fun anecdote is Willis was hanging out with me, and he gave me the entire plot synopsis of Expedition 33.
Yeah, because you told me
for
to
those
hit
of you,
turn-based.
yes,
Right.
exactly. That's exactly how it went. I was like, he was talking about this peak game he had just played. At the time, I was still defending Silk Song's Game of the Year award, and I was dying on that hill. And Willis said straight up, he's like, I've played a lot of Silk Song, haven't beaten it, but I knew right away it ain't beating Expedition 33 though. And we just started talking about it, and he gave me the entire plot about it. Everything.
Wow.
Everything from the transition of Act 2 to Act 3.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, you know what? In one ear, out the other, I'm never gonna play a turn-based game.
Yeah, you were like, no way.
Right. Whatever.
And then it was on sale or something, and I knew I had to play it before the Game of the Year awards, because if what Will's saying is true, I have to be the one to experience it. I forgot everything you told me about that game.
Dude, that's so true.
To the point where I was glazing a character on the main account of Twitter I had.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I remember that. You're like, oh my god, I'm going to build this character.
Yeah.
I love this character.
He told me the fate of that character. And I was like, I was devastated.
I remember so vividly. You were like sending messages about how much you liked this character. And I distinctly remember messaging Mark the like gif of the puppet where it's like,
yeah,
like I was like, I don't think he remembers.
I love sword and gun characters so much. Where it's just one has a sword and one hand has the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it spoke to me, man. And just to have that transition. I'm trying to protect the viewers that don't know, but
we're protecting Marco too.
Yes.
So the funny thing about that character is I knew about the spoiler that he died, but the thing is I didn't know when.
Right.
And it caught me by surprise, even though I knew the spoiler, and it still caught me completely off guard. I remember that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, oh my god.
There's a magic to it. There's a true magic to a really well like that.
So it's like even if you knew,
you wouldn't know, and you can easily forget. Like I had seen stuff and thought maybe, and I forgot, and then I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And even
because
go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. I thought I got spoiled because one of the thumbnails was Gustav in the very beginning. About to commit suicide while covered in blood.
Yeah, it's like first hour.
I closed that so quick.
Right.
Like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
And
that's super early in the game.
And I'm like, oh.
Right. It's
killing. Okay.
That happens so much these days, where it's like you think you see something, and then it's like, oh, it's not. You've misinterpreted what someone said or something like that.
Yes.
And it's so funny. I mean, even
that's
recently.
Why...
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's why I think a lot of I know obviously better not to be spoiled, but really like 90% of the time, even when I am spoiled about stuff, it doesn't bother me too much because you tell me a spoiler and without context it's not going to make sense.
Doesn't mean anything.
So yeah, it's so you to really be spoiled you'd have to have someone like explain it fully, and then at that point you're like, okay, well I'm not, hold on, whoa, chill, it's or like
exactly.
if you see a wall of text, don't read it.
Don't read the wall of text.
Like,
yeah.
Don't read the detailed explanation of the spoiler. But if it's like X character dies or something happens to Y character, you're like, okay, that doesn't mean okay. Well, like why? How did that happen? Right. So it's like all that still, it's still it can still be experienced.
Yeah.
So obviously better not to be unspoiled, but I feel like these days I don't, it doesn't bother me too much.
And it's a magical moment when you're talking to someone and you realize they like don't know a spoiler. Because
I know what you're thinking
what
about.
I'm bringing up. We have a friend, Liz, who's playing through. I'll say playing through a game.
Keep it vague.
I'm gonna keep it very vague. Who is playing through a certain franchise, and doesn't know a major spoiler. That I was talking to her and realized she doesn't know, and I was like, "Oh my god, she doesn't know. This is huge." You have managed to avoid arguably one of the most well-known spoilers in gaming.
Probably one of the biggest spoilers.
It might be the gaming spoiler.
Yeah.
Her not knowing that is like, I was like, oh my god, you're gonna have such a magical experience with this.
Yeah.
Which is like beautiful, that's a luxury you don't get a lot of the time.
Beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing that that's untainted.
Mm-hmm.
The purest form of realization is when she comes across.
Oh, 100%. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one day. Gosh, that's gonna be amazing. That's all I'll say. I don't even think she's watching, so it doesn't matter. But it's so funny.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite like spoiler from a game? Actually, that's like a simple thing. Nothing like we'll keep it to like well-known stuff. What's your favorite twist? I think that's a better way to say it. Not spoiler, but like twist.
When I was really young, I was at like a sleepover party where all of my friends had Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
And that Soap dies spoiler.
Yeah.
Like, it made me leave the sleepover early. I did not have the game yet.
Wow.
And, for those of you that have played Modern Warfare, Soap is like the main character you play in the first one.
Yeah.
He's like the main homie in the second one. And in the third one, he's like ready to be like Price's like right-hand man.
Yeah.
And then, bro, he dies. And back when Call of Duty used to like mean something to a generation, that was crazy.
That was
named death like that, like named people that died doesn't happen. They like teased Reznov's death like 3 times in World at War, but he never did. And now Soap McTavish dies. That got spoiled for me, and I was pretty devastated. So that jogged my memory because I just recently played the new Modern Warfare 3, which takes a lot of inspiration from the original Modern Warfare 3 to keep it vague.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the original
I think
Modern Warfare 3 Soap dying.
A good one I'll pull out that's funny in the sense of like faux spoilers, like fake spoilers people think they understand. We got a good message in chat from Meme Gremlin talking about watching their ex play Persona 3 and seeing the main character shoot themselves in the head and going, oh well, I got spoiled for that, I guess, only to find out they do that like every 5 minutes. When you come back to the game like years later, you see this cutscene of them shooting themselves. You're like, oh, I guess that's the big twist. Is like the main character dies early or something.
The fucking
Wait, that's actually so great. And then he just okay, this is a regular thing. Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah, exactly. I think another good one that's probably a good twist that's like a well-known thing and not a huge spoiler, so I don't ruin some like big thing, would be in the shooter realm would be Halo, like playing original Halo. Sorry for mild spoilers on Halo, but the flood reveal at the end of Halo 1, right? That shit's insane. When you first played that, I mean, of course, pictures of the flood have now flooded the internet. No pun intended, as we've talked about, right? The like mutant monsters and everything. But when you play that game for the first time, like there's none of that, like shown in the trailers when they first put the game out. Now, granted, every Halo game since then has shown them in the trailers, so. It's not a huge surprise when you run into them anymore. They're on the box art. They're in like the Master Chief Collection. It shows everything. But the mutated Covenant and soldiers at the end, right? Like that was like when I was 5. That was nuts. That's unfortunately. I'm really mad almost that they used the flood in marketing for the games. Like they showed them for the Combat Evolved remake. They showed some of the flood levels in the E3 presentation, and I was kind of like, I kind of wish they didn't do that, you know? Because I remember we were watching it together for, was it the Xbox State of Play, I think, or the Xbox presentation, and I remember Mark and Mina haven't finished Halo, but you guys were playing, and Mina goes, "Oh, those enemies look weird. I haven't seen those before." And I was almost like, I kind of wish they hadn't shown that for people who've never played Halo 1. They ruined the reveal.
I'm going to be honest. Everything you're saying, going through one ear and out the other, I don't know what
there you go, man.
About.
That's how you do it sometimes. That's actually perfect.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I distinctly remember that. That's good, though. Mark's going to forget, just like Glenn forgot about Expedition 33.
Not literally.
I don't even know any lore. We're talking about Halo, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Halo.
yeah. It's just shooting aliens and driving the car. Like I don't.
That's all it is, actually.
If you know
what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's actually perfect that you don't, because we'll just leave it at that.
Right. What are you talking? What?
You should finish Halo 1. You and Mina should really finish Halo 1.
We should.
It's a good game. It's a classic for a reason. And apparently the remake kind of, I don't know if it's good or bad. I've seen so much of both.
I was looking at the reviews, the remake that came out yesterday. So it's just a remake of what we were playing, right?
Yeah, the original. I kind of, with new levels. They added new levels.
See, I mean, I don't mind the old one too much. I kind of like
the charm
graphics, but yeah, we'll finish the old one. Yeah,
that's what I'd recommend. I mean, Master Chief Collection is still like the best deal ever.
Right.
In my brain.
Yeah, that's right. We got that. But then to the point on favorite spoiler, I was trying to think of like a single player one, but I couldn't.
You must have twist too. Like it doesn't have to be like a major thing.
No, Willis, you'll know this one because you this is for Final Fantasy 14, the MMO.
Yeah.
So the one I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to keep it vague. So the premise of the story, at least from the first few expansions, is like typical JRPG. Like there's a good god and a bad god, right?
Yeah.
And the bad god is basically like, this is the looming threat. Eventually you're going to fight him. That's the big bad, right? And they build up this bad god and sort of like the little they're his subordinates plotting around, scheming around. They build up that story throughout the base game and several of the expansions. And then when Endwalker was coming out, I forgot if it was like the 4th expansion or something. This is like after 10 years from the original. This is culminating the story.
Yeah.
So the original saga is coming to an end. You're finally going to face, the big bad, essentially. And for a bit of context, when an expansion comes out, there are typically 3 bosses, like they call it trials, but there's like 3 boss encounters per expansion release. You fight one really early, like relatively early on, then you fight the second one closer to the end, and then each expansion has their final boss, right? So Endwalker comes out, we're expecting, okay, we're finally going to confront the big bad. It's probably going to be the last boss or the penultimate boss, right? Maybe they'll sneak in like this even bigger bad, whatever. But it's going to be one of the last few, right? So then the game comes out, you're questing, you're doing this, that, and then all of a sudden you're like in what you thought was the final zone, which is the moon. They were teasing the moon a lot.
They did that a lot.
Like, you're gonna go to the moon. It's why you're on the moon, right? And then all of a sudden you're on the moon. It's very quick. It's kind of
very early on.
The moon.
Yeah, really early in the expansion.
And then
you're on the moon.
Really early on, for context, you're level 83. The cap is 90. So you're expecting, okay, I'm gonna fight the big bad at level 90. The first trial is the big bad, and you fight him.
It's the first fight,
and
there's
then
like 8 more
dead.
after that.
He's dead, and you're like, wait, what?
I don't understand. Yeah, I remember that blowing my mind.
It was so good when you realize it's so sudden how quick that boss encounter pops up, and you're just sitting there like, is this happening like right now? And
wow.
I think for me, that was a big one. And then you're wondering, what the hell are we going to do for the rest of the expansion? We're not even halfway done.
And it's so good.
What do you mean?
Everything that
just beat the big bad.
Everything that comes after that is even better. It's like crazy.
And it gets better. It's not like, oh fuck, we killed the big bad. How are we gonna like
live up to this? It's like no.
Like how are we gonna make the story make sense? It makes sense.
It's such a good bait and switch. I distinctly remember, because I grinded that game like right on expansion day. So I was at the point where every time you joined one of the trials, it was almost the entire party was experiencing it for the first time, which was really special. And I distinctly remember joining that battle and someone typing, "I'm so confused right now," in the chat for the party encounter, just being like, "I don't understand." And I was like, "None of us do. We're all here, and we're sharing in this moment."
At the time was when 14 was also experiencing an influx of players and streamers. So it was also so good to then go to streamers and watch their reactions.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then they get to not just that moment, but moments throughout the story. But that moment in particular is always fun to watch. Like people get to that and they're like, "Wait, what? What do you mean?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about my answer just while everyone was saying their thing, and I have a few. Like I won't take up with like a million, but there are some particular ones where I can very much recall my reaction when this happened. And the first one I will say is, Glenn started with Call of Duty. I think the twist of Call of Duty Black Ops 1 is fantastic.
It is good.
That it's almost a Fight Club-esque twist.
It's a good way to say it without spoiling it, yeah.
Right. It's a Fight Club-esque twist at the end when things start getting pieced together. And I mean, the whole story is kind of this weird mystery about, like, the numbers, Mason, what do they mean, right? Like, so when you start figuring out what it means, it's really cool. And you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. Again, it's like Glenn said, back when Call of Duty actually mattered for people.
When it had good writers.
That was like an awesome twist, and it didn't just feel like this is Call of Duty, it's a shooting game. It's like, no, there was like a great story on top of, the multiplayer. The single player was also carrying its weight, and it was very interesting. So that was a great twist. The other twist that I think it again was really well done, and this took 2 games to happen, is the Saints Row series. Again, there's a reason it's on my favorite games.
Yeah.
But the Saints Row series ends. So Saints Row 1 ends in a way that if there was no sequel, your character would be dead. Your character would just be dead. So in Saints Row 2, you start in a prison hospital in like a coma. You're in a coma. And if you never played Saints Row 1, you'd kind of be like, why the fuck am I in a coma? Like, why am I in this hospital, prison hospital? And now I have to break out. That's the first mission of the game. You're breaking out in Saints Row 2. In Saints Row 1, what happens is, I'll very, very briefly, you join this gang, you meet all these characters. Some characters are double agents. They're one is an undercover cop, for example. But there are other characters that betray you for their own personal gain and leaves that game on a cliffhanger where your character gets blown up on a yacht. And that's it. Like, unironically, the yacht blows up and there's no follow-up to that. The credits roll. And you're just sitting there like, oh, are you fucking serious? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So imagine if Volition never got a sequel. Imagine they're like, yeah, this game fucking didn't do any sales. You're not getting a second game. That would be it. Your character's just dead. Mm-hmm. But then we get the second game. And the great thing about it is that the second game does not directly address what happened. It's only at the end game. Like, you literally beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
There will be a mission that is not part of the final story. It's almost like an unmarked side quest mission that you do, where you like revisit some characters from the past
Yeah.
to confront them about what happened. Because and it's almost like one of those things where it's like, even if it didn't touch the story of the first game, the second game is great on its own, right? But because it did that, and it did it in a way that's like, you might never even realize this is an option to confront these old characters.
Mhm.
I was like, holy shit! I can't believe they did that. That is such a cool twist.
Yeah.
And again, whatever. I'm not going to turn this to a complaint video, but it's like they also don't really resolve it. I thought they were going to really resolve it in the third game.
It's not the
Whatever.
style, yeah.
Whatever. It's fine, but it was cool at the time. And then the third one, and this is it. This is my last one. Is actually Mark and I. Mark and I did this very recently because we were playing old school RuneScape. Okay, and they're constantly updating it. And one of their more recent updates, they introduced a quest for a new low-level, beginner-friendly boss in the starting area of Lumbridge, where it's a cow milking quest, basically. And in the quest, you are helping this guy who says he has a special new formula for milk that's going to blow all the competition out of the water. And basically, he wants to, start selling it, make a lot of money. He wants to start distributing it. So you're helping him, and he gives it to you to taste. And your character goes, "Oh my God, this tastes like shit." And he's like, "Really?" And then your character tastes it again. He goes, "Yeah, no, this really tastes like shit." And so, anyways, you go on through the quest and you're going back and forth. And the quest ends with you doing this boss fight for a bull. You have to kill this bull that you have to do special attacks and stuff. And when you kill the bull, you go back to the guy that gave you the quest and you go, "Yeah, I killed that crazy bull." He's like, "What?" And you're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You killed my business partner." And he's like, "What do you mean business partner?" It's like, "Yeah, where do you think the milk comes from? I wanted to change it."
It's disgusting.
And I didn't want to get it from cows anymore. I wanted to get it from the bull. And for the viewers that
Your mic is cutting out.
You're
You're screaming so loud. Your mic is progressively cutting out. I tried turning you up suddenly while you talked to help you, and it wasn't working.
Okay, how about now?
Let's try one more time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
For those at home, bulls do not produce milk.
There you go.
I didn't realize that at first. Marco was like, "Mark, do you realize the quest, like the implication?" I'm like, "No."
The
And then he
implication.
told me, "Bulls don't
The
produce milk,"
implication.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah, the implication is
My character was drinking this milk. I was handing it out to other quest givers to try the milk. They were all saying it was disgusting.
It was very bitter. It was very bitter. So
Wow.
yeah, so those are my
so
twists.
funny.
Those are my favorite
Those are
gaming
good. Those are good
twists.
choices.
I have one more. I don't want my legacy to be soap for Modern Warfare 3, but the
I'm gonna throw one more in too,
blowing
probably.
up was the yacht blowing up reminded me the twist of Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain.
Oh, that's a good one.
God, that is such a good twist. And
Uh-huh.
to protect the people that haven't played it, I think you definitely should. It is so good, and the needle drop song they use for the reveal just sets the tone so perfectly. The monologue is so good, and yeah, so I just wanted to throw that one in there because that's probably one of my favorite twists.
I gotta play that game. Like,
you
yeah,
do,
dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna keep it very vague and quick. But Glenn, it's not really a twist, but the moment you realize what's happening in Outer Wilds, that was pretty cool to me too. Like, and the thing is, like, everyone's gonna find out in different ways. I found out on the Sun Station, and then it all clicked, and I was like, "Oh." So, Willis, you gotta play this game. It's so good.
It is good.
I'll throw one final fun one in because it's not a plot spoiler, But it's like a moment that I think is really good, and I think people will forget it potentially if they didn't know it and then play the game one day. But I'm gonna choose Bayonetta, the twist at with the ending, where you're watching the ending of the game go out, and I'll say the ending of the game is particularly it starts off seeming for a game that's so lighthearted, kind of grim, you know, and you're like, wow, and it's playing this very dramatic kind of ending. Essentially, is the best way I can say it, and I had at least gone into Bayonetta not knowing that this happened, although it's apparently pretty famous. You're sitting there and you're like, wow, this is a surprisingly grim ending for a game that's basically a comedy. And Bayonetta stepping in and going, nah, this ending fucking sucks, and kicking the credits out of the way and starting what is actually the final level of the game was pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. That's up there for me. I think that's one of the reasons I love that game is solely that moment. Like when she's like, I hate this ending. Let's change it. And I was just like, oh, that's really funny. But I feel like that could be
we can go on and on about this, bro.
I was about to say that could be a really good transition.
Right.
If we're talking about games that are a little bit meta, Glenn just recently finished a personal favorites of Marco's and mine, honestly, as well. No More Heroes.
That is such a perfect transition. No More Heroes, so good. And I just want to start off with finding out the voice actor of Travis Touchdown and realizing it's Kazuhiro Miller from Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. I could not get it out of my head of Travis Touchdown in another life, bro, is running a private military corporation.
That's right.
No, dude, No More Heroes, so fun. The comedic timing of everything was hands down one of the funniest I've seen in a video game for quite a long time. It was genuinely funny, regardless of the fact that it's like a 2007 Wii exclusive.
Yeah,
like that was funny. Like the characters, last time I was on the podcast, we talked about the rogues gallery in certain games. That's a good one. A lot of good twist rogue galleries. There was that doctor that you don't even like fight, but that's the intro into Harry. I think his name was.
Yes.
It was so good. Just
Dr. Let's Shake.
Yes, Let's Shake. Let's Shake. Who he's has this weapon of mass destruction, and you're like, holy shit, this is gonna be crazy. And then, boom, he's a free boss.
Yep.
So good, so funny. The twist ending, which I'll keep vague as well, is like there's a thing after the credits. You think you're done, you aren't. And such a good twist, such a good reveal. And the fact that like games like that are clearly not taking themselves so seriously, games like that need to be made still.
Yeah.
One that you can just turn off your brain, basically watch a stand-up comedy in a video game form.
Right.
It's hilarious. You start like the charging your lightsaber is literally the jerking off motion.
It is.
Where
That
if the
game's
camera
insane.
was a certain
It's so
different
insane.
angle, it would definitely be like that. Travis is just a sleazy guy that
he's the worst.
If
he's low-key
that
the worst.
game was made today, it would definitely be called a Chud Day One.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a Chud. You're not supposed to like him. That's what makes the game kind of fun. Is he's kind of dislikable.
But no, I think honestly, the only negative comment I had is a negative comment I have about a lot of games now is I like playing on the hardest difficulty, and it just irks me the wrong way where I just have to like earn it by playing the game.
Right.
So I like 100% in games, and I like playing on the hardest difficulty. And a lot of the times, there's too many games that make you earn the hardest difficulty, and then the last achievement is to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. It's like, let me do that straight out of the gate. I've been playing games since I was 4 years old. I can handle the hardest difficulty of a 2007 game.
Yeah.
That being said, the final boss fight on the hard difficulty was hard.
I watched you play it. Yeah,
That was a
that
Sekiro
looked.
boss, bro.
Yeah, that
It
was
is like a
tough.
Sekiro boss.
Unironically, that took me about the same amount of tries as the final boss of Sekiro did. And I'm not. That's not negative. By all means, I love when games are challenging and they make me find cool and unique ways to get past challenges.
Yeah.
And I felt that. I felt that with No More Heroes. There were a lot of hard bosses. There were a lot of times where I was like, there's no way my sword is doing this little damage. But it's like learning their timing, like you do in Sekiro, learning the fact that the suplex moves are like how you do damage. So staying aggressive, hesitation is defeat, just like Sword Saint Ishin used to say.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And the more and more I played and the more and more I dedicated myself to the hardest difficulty, I realized like I'm playing a pioneer of Sekiro.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
this is like the blocking, the staying on point with what you're doing and like watching them, not button mashing and like realizing to yourself like, okay, I don't button mash here. Like that's
Yeah.
just not how I win. And overcoming that challenge, that was such a fun game. And
Oh, it's
I am
amazing.
so pleased it's on my roster. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for people that say it's at their top 9 because it deserves to be there.
Thank you.
It's a great
good.
game.
Thank you. It's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you
Yeah.
liked it.
It is amazing. Marco, I'd love to hear who your least favorite from the Rogues Gallery, in your opinion, from the time you played it.
Man, in terms of really disappointing people, I'm not a fan of what's it called? Speedbuster. It's just not a great
It's a good choice.
boss fight. I mean, it's cool because it's different. It's like an environmental boss fight, and you're trying to reach the boss is kind of the challenge itself rather than fighting the boss
Mhm.
directly. But it was just like as a character, I was just like, okay, like she's quirky, sure, but it's like not that. Like as from everything that came before, it was a little bit underwhelming, to be honest with you. Because again, you have such a strong start, right? You have like such really well designed characters and stages leading up to them that Speedbuster was a little bit of like a drop off before it went back up. And so that was my most disappointing. But again, it's like, to be fair, she doesn't overstay her welcome. It's not a particularly like super big amount of time investment to fight or to get through that and then just go to the next one. So yeah, I would say that's the weakest. It's not horrible, but it's just the weakest in comparison. How about you?
My least favorite. That's a good question. I think story wise, I'm blanking on the name. It's the like Shinobi girl, the like
Shinobu.
one. Shinobu, right? Shinobu.
Yeah.
I just never understood what I was supposed to do with her. She has a lot of flipping over me moves. But a lot of it was just I could only beat it by button mashing. I definitely did not understand what I was supposed to do, and it was just one of those things where it's like I don't want to look up how to beat Shinobu in No More Heroes 2007. It's like, but I just like in terms of story, she was great. Travis understanding like, yo, these are people. She clearly lost. My goal is not to kill them. Like, let's be real here, Sylvia. Like, she lost. That's all I needed to do. But just leaving that fight, I came out of it like I didn't learn anything here. I did not know how I beat that. I definitely just button mashed and won.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
it's something you can get away with it being like the second to first like boss. Like it's early enough where you can get away with button mashing because it's the second to first second boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But
Exactly.
yeah, Willis, do you have a least favorite from the roster? Do you
Ooh,
remember?
that's tough. I'd probably be the same with Marco, Speedbuster, because I remember I liked the cutscene that starts that one, and then I found myself very just frustrated with the fight. Again, I didn't have a lot of patience back then. I a lot of what you talk about with like beating it on the hard mode and stuff, that was not my style when I was younger. It was just beat it once and I was done.
Yep.
And as a teenager, I loved No More Heroes for its like insanity, but I definitely found that fight just kind of annoying, and then I was kind of like, oh, whatever. I mean, it's funny story wise, it has the big no, but I don't know. I just kind of ended up falling to the side for that one in the end.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one, without a doubt.
It's such a classic, though. I hope Suda51 keeps making crazy ass games. I have not played Romeo's a Dead Man, but I've heard it's quite good. Which was their most recent title.
I heard it is a good, not return to form, but it is just a good, Suda-esque game.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters is that it's weird, and that's what matters. So.
Hey, we take those.
Yeah. Nothing but I can do nothing but sing that game's praises.
You got to play the other ones now, or at least two.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how you feel about the subsequent games.
Totally. That was a good one for sure.
There are in fact no more heroes.
Yeah. So 9x9 homework is going very well. Baldur's Gate, Portal 2, and now No More Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Amazing what people have on their roster that really like defines them, and
definitely
I can see it shine through, without a doubt.
I doing my homework at least. I've been playing RuneScape. I've been on the Unk game train. We'll talk about before the end. I'll talk a little bit about League Classic because I have played a few matches today. I've been pushing that one off till right at the end because no one else I think can really comment on that. But and one people can comment on the Unk train. Been playing RuneScape because it was recommended to me obviously by the gang, and it was in some of you guys' favorite games. So I was like, let's give it a try. Why not? I did not expect that game for everything I've heard about it being so grindy and so such a commitment to do anything in it. It's so chill. I don't think I've ever played a game that's so grindy and is just really chill. Like to just have it open while you're doing something else, like video editing or something, like when I'm getting the podcast ready. And I was like, wow, I'm just vibing. Like I really am. I did not expect that, like at all. It was a real surprise. Because I remember Mark playing it on mobile and grinding.
All right. I mean, the thing with that game is, like, it is fundamentally, aside from, like, the quests and some other stuff, it is just, you're just grinding your skills, right? And some are more click-intensive than others. So it's like, and, the ones that are click-intensive, maybe they're more XP. But what I really like about that game is there's also a lot of, like, AFK grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I remember it too, it's like I'll just put it on the second monitor. I actually have the gemstone crab right on the second monitor right now. But like other stuff, it's like you just keep it there. I remember earlier this week or last week, I just kept it on there and I was doing my work and I'll just click once every 10 minutes to move my character to where the crab went, and that's it. And I mean, then I know some people listen to it and like, what are you doing in the game exactly? Well, you do the grinding like while you're doing other stuff. Then you can do the content that's like more like the bosses and quests that then
to get you the
it
cool
requires
armor
your
and everything.
attention. And the other when you just start the game, you actually don't get to the grinding. I mean, you can see, that's the thing. You can just leave Lumbridge and just start doing whatever you want. But a lot of early stuff, you want to probably knock out some of the early quests because they have unlocks, and the quests are nice. I know we talked last time that Marco doesn't read it. I do. It doesn't matter. I do think you'll appreciate the British humor of the quests.
Oh, definitely.
They're
I
just
had a specific
so stupid.
one I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, okay, this is definitely gonna make Glenn laugh too. I know his sense of humor, and you guys will laugh as well because you've played RuneScape. The shock I felt because I just beat this quest today, before I got on stream, before I realized League Classic servers were up, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta play a couple matches. When I was doing the quest for the killer, that is a parody of Scream, very early on.
I remember. I did.
I should say I love Scream. That's one of my favorite horror films. I love Scream, really great. When you walk up to that barrel, and it starts a cutscene, I was like, "There's cutscenes in RuneScape."
There are cutscenes in RuneScape.
I had no fucking idea that there were cutscenes in RuneScape. I was so shocked. And obviously, that whole quest is very British humor because it's a parody of Scream. It's hilarious. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. The one where you take the boat to that manor, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I did that one.
I think that's called Mistalent Mystery or something.
Yes, Mistalent Mystery. Yeah. It was really fun.
That's a great one.
I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the quintessential RuneScape quest. You walk around, you click some stuff, you find a little thing here and there, and then you're done and you get some rewards, and then you go back to grinding something so you can do the next one.
Actually, that's a good point, because I don't think we emphasized it enough initially. When we say RuneScape is an MMO and it has quote-unquote quests, you think, okay, kill 10 boars for their ears, and it takes like 30 boars to do. And it's just non-consequential, right? You kill X mobs, you go somewhere else, deliver this, kill more mobs. In RuneScape, it's different. In terms of number, there's a lot of quests. It's like, I don't know how much, Marco, but the number of quests, there's a lot. But
I think there's 184, something like that. 184
so 184 quests, right? But then when you compare it to like another MMO, in terms of raw quest number, it's probably not a lot, right? World of Warcraft probably has thousands of quests, right? But those quests are kill X mobs, or kill this
kill 8 boar
enemy, or collect the flowers and deliver, right? In RuneScape, some quests are shorter than others, but they're all like handcrafted, and it's like a story, you know. And I think that's why, and some quests is really annoying, but they're all, none of them are like a repeat of one another. They truly are like a quest in the name of like what a quest is, you know, not kill 10 boars. It is a quest. You're taking a quest, you're doing this thing, you're uncovering a mystery, or you have to fight a big bad, and you have to prepare for it and do various things. So that's one thing that's really nice about RuneScape. It's all its quests are like very handcrafted. There's a story to tell, and it's all of them are really unique. And even though some are shorter than others, they're all different from each other.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that about those quests in RuneScape. They're very unique.
Yep. Yeah, like the one you just did. It's a whole. They had a whole set piece of the manor. It's, you know, a lot of interactions, a lot of puzzle solving, and that's what the quests are like. And some of them are really short, like the bull one Marco was talking about. That one doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
But then there's others that are like, holy moly, this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why, Willis, I told you one of the add-ons you really need to get is the quest helper.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, it makes such a difference.
Because I'm telling you, there are some quests that if you were to just do the quest based on the information that the NPCs are giving you or the clues within the game, you would never figure it out. And it's not an insult to your intelligence, but it's just like, how the actual fuck am I supposed to know where to go based on this limited information?
I agree.
So I'll just give you an example. There is a quest, it's a members quest called Wanted. And in this quest, you are helping a group of knights hunt down this wanted criminal who is like an evil sorcerer who is very skilled in magic, and he's very skilled in teleporting. So you get a hint as to where he is, and every time you get close, he's not there, but you have an orb that you have to use in the area where he could possibly be for him to show up. And every time you find him, he'll show up, he'll knock you out, and he will disappear completely. And then you have to go and find him, and the entire map is a possible location for him to be hiding in. So it's not a region, it's not one town. It's the whole map is a possible place for him to be hiding. And they're just like, "Yeah, you got to go find him, dude."
Oh my goodness.
So,
That's dope.
Wait, so
yeah.
does the quest helper just tell you where to go,
The
or
quest helper will straight up just go here. He's over here. But again, it's because of the quest helper I even knew where to go, because I assure you I even like was looking through the dialogue, and I was like, how if I didn't have this I would be so fucked. I would
Yeah.
be so fucked. So yeah, that's a crazy one. And then just really briefly, there's another quest with the same group of knights that is called the recruitment drive. It's where you join them as like an official member. And to do it, there are several tests that you need to do in various difficulty, and they're all puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you do not have the quest helper and you relied on the vague answers of these people for every test, you'd be stuck there for hours. So the reason I say that is because I watch a guy on YouTube that is doing it. He's doing every quest by order of release, without the wiki or without the quest helper, and he's doing it with like just based off what the NPCs tell him, what the quest tells him to do in game, but he has no outside influence or like resources to help him. And he's a lot of the quests where they're very low level beginner quests. He's like, I have no fucking clue. I was like,
That's
where
so
the fuck
funny.
am I going? Like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. Like, so yeah, it's like that. But it's like, again, every quest is like a handwritten story. So it isn't just, oh, go here and kill 10 of these mobs and I'll give you 30 gold. It's like, no, here is a story with characters, dialogue. There's some sort of issue going on and you have to
Yeah.
solve it.
It's a true quest.
So it's a real quest. It is an actual quest. So it's really cool. It's cool that way.
Yeah.
Marco, I recently did just on that note, I did Monkey Madness, right?
Oh
To get
my
the Dragon
god.
Scimitar.
Oh
And
my
that quest,
god.
it's at the second half of the quest has you like backtrack and forth from like the main islands to Ape Atoll, which is like a monkey island, very hostile. If
Right.
I didn't have Quest Helper, so one thing Quest Helper will do is it'll tell you like, hey, make sure you bring these items before you go to
Exactly.
Ape Atoll. And it's like I was just thinking to myself, because it was annoying. There's like a whole maze. You have to, it's so annoying, and then getting through the village, so annoying. And that's with like I have the items on me. If I did not know what I needed to bring, and I would have gone through these mazes or through the villages just for the NPC to tell me like, okay, we need this next, and then I would have to backtrack and do it all over again. So I probably
Exactly.
had to do that route like 5 or 6 times.
Mhm.
But then if I didn't have the quest helper, it would have been like probably 20 because I didn't know I needed to bring this or that. So it's like I kind of like it, so you can figure everything out. And I was trying to do that initially because when I made a new account, I was like, I kind of want to like experience the game, do the quest naturally. And I did the first few, and then I was like, actually, I'm just gonna use quest helper because at a certain point, it's just like this is gonna be very tedious if I didn't look it up and
it's crazy.
know what to bring, so I don't reroute, do the same route.
I felt that way about even the murder mystery one, because you have to like solve a puzzle at some point, and it's like how was I supposed to know? I should have been paying attention to the order of the doors I opened every time I saw one of the people die, and then put the colors in the right order. I was like, what the fuck? I had never figured this out.
I didn't. I was doing because that was one of the ones I was like, let me try to figure this out, and I was just staring, clicking the doors. I'm like, okay, what this quest helper says, and it's like this one, or open this painting. And I'm like, how would you have known to take the knife and rip open the painting to get the item? Like, where was the hint for that? How would I have known to do that?
Right.
It's like what? Maybe I missed the tell, but it's like it's some of these things. It's like, why on earth would you do that? Like, there was the thing with the fireplace too, Willis. I think.
Yes.
It's like, how would you? What?
I'd have been so unbelievable.
Yeah, I do have it, so it's set, so it doesn't tell me all the puzzles. So I still did.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, but they were easy.
I let it hold my hand fully. I don't care.
But yeah, stuff like the fireplace. It's like, why would I have known to do that?
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. There's like a level of jank to RuneScape, which is very charming, but at the same time, it does not have some of the modern, like, hey, this is where you go. Like, here, let this thing guide you on a
That's
trail
true. That's
where
true.
you walk towards your next objective, and there's a big exclamation point
Right.
over the person. It's like, no, go find this guy, maybe over here. And by the way, when you're walking over there, everything is hostile to you, and it's gonna try and fucking kill you. Because I know for sure, Mark, experience going to Apatoll for the first time, and when you don't have the monkey transformation thing,
Yeah, exactly.
everything on the island is hostile to you and will try to fucking kill you. So snakes, spiders, other monkeys will shoot blow darts at you. It's actually, you probably had a better time surviving the trenches of World War One than like getting through Monkey Madness like unscathed.
That's true.
The first time around. So yeah, the quests are fun like that though, where it's just like go into this wilderness where everything's trying to kill you, so you can talk to one guy and then run all the way back to go get something.
I didn't even mention that. I would have probably died too. This was me with max prayer. I had the anti-poison. I had food. I was ready, and I thought it was annoying. So I'm just imagining like, oh my god, if I didn't know anything, I would have like. I not forget like rerouting, like going back multiple times. I would have died in the process.
Exactly.
I would have like
then you got to get your stuff and everything. It's like
Oh, I didn't even. That's true. Yeah, I forgot.
You lose your items in RuneScape. However, I will say they did add a more friendly version now, where there's like a Grim Reaper kind of thing, and all your items go there, and you just pay him, and you pick up your items. Back then, it was fucking brutal. It was just, you died, you lost your shit except for 3 items. That's it. And if your prayer was a certain level, you could protect 1 extra item. But that's it. There was like no sort of like, oh, and then your items come back. It's like, you better be fucking careful what you're taking with you if you're going to a dangerous area, because you could lose it. You know?
Damn.
Yep.
Cutthroat, man. And could you choose what 3 items you stay, or are they random?
No,
they were randomized. They were randomized. What 3 items? Yeah.
Was it? I thought it was always the most valuable. Maybe it was different back in the day, or is it?
I think back in the day, it used to be your most. It was randomized, and I think now it's your most valuable. And then with the prayer, you can choose the 1 extra item that you get. But again, now they have a new system where you lose the items when you die.
Right.
Like, they're not in your inventory, but you just run over to an NPC and you can buy them back. Which is nice, which is a lot more forgiving before it's just, oh, you lost your shit. That sucks, you know, like, yeah.
You have 15 minutes to get it. If you don't, it's over.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yep. So it used to be a rough, no holds barred, just fucking game.
Damn.
No, for sure. Okay. Go ahead.
With I was gonna say, funny segue I want to do is no hold bars. Why would you even do that? League of Legends Classic.
That's what I was about to do. I was gonna be like, does anybody want to say anything else before I go into the final segment of talking about League? I was gonna give everybody a chance before I talk about it, but with that amazing transition from Glenn, thank you so much. I will talk about classic League of Legends. So, without getting into too much lore, technically, without classic League of Legends, this podcast would not exist. I won't explain why, but technically, it is the reason this podcast exists. So I was obviously very excited to play classic League when it came back. Call me an unk, tell me I don't have reaction speed for faster League nowadays. It's true. I don't have the patience. A 60 character roster was easier to memorize than a 184 one. So fuck that. I'm excited, right? Especially considering I don't play ranked, right? Like I just play casually with friends. So I was very excited. League Classic is obviously very different than modern League of Legends. The characters move slower, the gameplay is a lot slower, it's more methodical. Whereas current League is very hyper focused on, pinpoint rotations, perfect play, and like speedier gameplay and, different rotations of dragon and all these other things, right? Classic League is so magical, and I'm 100% biased when I say this, because it uses the Valve balancing mindset. If everything is broken, nothing is broken. That's my favorite style of game. I love that. It's why I love Team Fortress. Deadlock does the same shit where every character can be broken. I mean, just today, Deadlock had an update where it was like, oh yeah, during the full stun ultimate of Mo and Krill, you can use castable items at the same time. So I've seen already multiple TikToks of people like wombo comboing people in the game. It's crazy. Classic League is absolutely that way. It is the most... To be frank, it's the most unbalanced piece of shit you could ever play in your entire life. That's why people liked it. Here's the thing. If you're getting stomped on in Classic League, it sucks. I had it happen already today. If you fall behind and someone like gets their build going, there is no real counterplay to Classic League. You can build some items to negate it a little bit, but if you let somebody truly in the MOBA sense, get fed, it's over. I was getting one shot by a Katarina today. Like, just walked into my lane, one button, I'm gone, right? Like, it's just... But here's the thing. When you're that Katarina, the game is crack. It's perfect. And that's why people love Classic League. That was the magic that made me get into that game. It was very much about not being a balanced experience, but being a chaotic, strategic, competitive experience. It was more about, feast or famine. It is truly a feast or famine video game. And I'm sure our other friend Liz would comment very similarly to the feeling of being good at League back in the day. It was absolutely about the feast or famine mindset. Of like, if I'm behind, it sucks, whatever, right? And they eventually changed that to make a comeback mechanics, because obviously for true competitive esports play, because League makes billions of dollars now, it's not, the same game it was in 2013. It's so much more fun, I think, than the other way around. Like, it's rage-inducing because it's like, oh, you didn't know this ward and you didn't know this rotation or blah, 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 blah. The game, I mean, it's still complex because it's a MOBA. It's a strategy-based game, right? But it's much simpler. It's get a build, buy those items, focus that specific thing, and that's it. There is no like, oh, they bought this, I really need to counter by this. It's very similar to a Dota or Deadlock balancing where it's like, oh, they're a heavy magic character, buy one magic resist item. Not like you need to know this item does this and then this item does this and you have to press these items in this order in order to counter this ultimate. Like, League has become... A good example is similar to Marvel Rivals, where it's like visual clutter, right? Like, if you haven't played 1,000 hours of League, you don't understand what's happening. That is not a thing in Classic League. It's just not. It's visually very clear what's happening. It's very distinct things. And because of that, the game is much more punishing, right? Like, if you fall behind, you can't catch up. But that's sort of the point. Like, if you fell behind in Civ, and you're like, multi-weeks into the game, and then some guy could just magically come back at the last second, that's not very fun. It's not the design of the game, It's designed to be a slow, methodical, strategic thing. And not to say you can't do that. Obviously, you can come back and win a League game if people play stupid or arrogant or get greedy, right? But I think it's more about that strategically getting the advantage over someone, catching them out being greedy, or just playing it safe, versus a, knowledge gap. I don't think there's a huge knowledge gap in Classic League of Legends. It's a lot easier to understand what you have to do, even though it's still a complicated game. So that's my opinion on Classic League, which is why I'm very excited to play a lot of matches of it. I also like the old art style, I'll be honest. It looks like shit kind of, but that's the charm of it. Similar to RuneScape, I like the older look. It looks very World of Warcraft core versus now League is looks like every League low-key, the modern League is low-key the format for every gacha game ever. Like, I feel like every gacha game copied League of Legends look. Maybe that's just me, but that's absolutely how I feel. So Classic League felt more unique. It had a more unique art style, even if it was a little ugly or like messed up. And back then, before the game was the biggest game in the world, biggest esports, you know, all this shit, when Riot was just having fun making characters, I think it was a better game to pick up with your friends. And that's how I felt today already, playing it. I miss the old balancing. I like the old map, the way it looks. I like the crazy, stupid little things you could do. You know, them balance. Sometimes I think cutting glitches or bugs that people like to use can be a bad thing. You know, like I enjoy things that are like tech, you know, like Ezreal tech, because I play Ezreal. When he gets grappled, if you teleport, you'll drag them with you, right? So like, oh, I get grappled, I drag you into the team fight, right? Like, I like stuff like that. Obviously, it's not good for esports play, so they get rid of it in Modern League. But like, I miss stuff like that. It would be like if TF2 removed rocket jumping because it made the competitive scene bad. Like, it would ruin what makes it magical to me. And that's, I guess, competitively speaking, or at least my thoughts in general on why I like the old balance patches. Will it be successful? I don't know, because League is very different than a World of Warcraft or RuneScape. You know, it's a matchmaking based thing, but I think they could definitely have fun with it. I think they did a good choice going with actual Season 3 of League versus like going all the way back to Season 1 when it was only a 20 character roster. I think that would have been bad because a lot of...
But why did they do Season 3 as opposed to 2 or 4?
Season 3 was considered the
Or
peak
later.
of old League. And it was right before they changed the game.
I agree.
So season
okay.
So Season 3 was when it had exactly 60 characters. That was around the time when the game was formally getting roles. So like that was the first time when people were like, "Oh, these characters were now balanced to jungle." Or these characters are balanced for ADC. Whereas back then it was more like Dota, where it was kind of like everybody did a little bit of everything. Deadlock is very much Dota-esque too, where it's kind of like there isn't a specific jungler. It's kind of just like, all right, time to roam, kill random stuff, you know, come back to lane and fight. League Season 3 was when they were kind of like, hey, you know, the game is more fun when it's played this way, so we're going to introduce role queue. But back then it wasn't really a role queue. It was more just like, oh, these characters are specifically designed for this, so you should play them on this part of the map, etc. You know.
Just for context, so like when was Jinx added? Because that's when I started. What season was that?
Pretty late.
Jinx
pretty
was
much later
2015,
than...
2014.
Right.
Season 3 was 2013. So this was the last season.
Oh, wow.
That's a good way to say it, is that this was... Jinx ushered in Modern League. I can say that.
Right.
Jinx was one of the characters that was
yeah.
added around the ushering in of Modern League, when they started doing a lot of Hex Tech, which is what the series Arcane is based on. They added the Hex Tech shit around when Jinx was added, and they expanded the lore into that. Season 3 is pre-Hex Tech, which is sort of the ushering in of Modern League. So this was kind of the last hurrah of original style League of Legends. So I think picking Season 3...
It's like Wrath of the Lich King before Cataclysm, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually the perfect way to think of it. It is... Season 3 is the Wrath, essentially. It was when the balance was the best. It was when the characters were really fun to understand. And it was before they had a new lead artist come in and they started to change everything.
Okay. Because like everything you're saying, like for someone like me, I have like zero interest in playing League, like Modern League, because mainly because of the knowledge gap, and also just because I know if I get into it, like but just the people who are like they play League every day, it's like I don't know, like I get it, but I also don't want to do that. Like
you're a child. You're a child.
We're talking to you. Yeah,
but yeah, it's the knowledge gap is too much.
Oh yeah,
like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like I'm not gonna spend like 100 hours sucking at the game so I can learn then to like how to play it. You raise a great point, because another thing I wanted to say I actually forgot about, and you reminded me. Thank you, Mark. Is when people think about that, oh, why is the game fun when every character is good? So if you fall behind, you just snowball. You know what I'm saying? Like they snowball and stomp you. As much as that's miserable and is part of League and is a very rough thing, that also means if you like a specific character, you can just play that character. Like I was an Ezreal one trick for sure. I couldn't play anybody else. I could kind of fake it if I picked a different character, like if my character got banned, and you'd be like, oh, okay, well then just pick somebody else, and you can kind of fake it then.
And it's not just like, oh, I'm off my main, I don't know what to do, blah blah blah, right? Like, as long as you play roughly smart, you can kind of figure it out. But in Modern League, it's like, oh, I want to play Ezreal, and then you pick it, and they go, oh, bro, they counterpicked you. You got to swap now. It's like, I don't want to. And that again, it's like you're doing counterplay before the match begins. That sucks. I hate that stuff. You should be able to just
because I would
play.
see because I've seen clips of League and all this pre-match stuff that's going on.
There's none of
the
that.
Bans and the roles.
I mean, you do ban,
like,
but
what do you got? I mean, yeah, but it's like to the extent that Modern League, there's all this setup before the game even starts.
There's none of that.
What's going on here? What's going on? Like, just pick a character and go in.
Because that's a big thing with Modern League is they have what they call preset runes, which change your character to have certain passive abilities or things that happen. For example, if you play Lux, you hit a spell, it adds an extra bouncing orb that deals damage and follows through a crowd, right? So you have to counterplay stuff like that, like, oh, these characters play good off crowd, switch your runes to this and all that, you know what I'm saying, right?
So not only do you need to know every character, you need to know all
rune counters, you need to know items that counter each other.
Right. The items, you need to know whatever the thing you just described, like the variation.
It's
it's not like 100 characters and hundreds of items. Now it's multiplied by all those like variations.
And the visual clutter. And
I'm like,
it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It is.
I'm not doing
and Classic League, the way the runes work, all it is it's a page and it's just custom. And since all the characters are good, your runes, like, there is obviously for each character an optimal rune style. There's always an optimal thing to do, right, if you want to play competitively. But for the most part, all the characters are balanced to where you don't have to even have a rune page. Like I play today, you unlock rune page at it. Classic League resets your account when you're playing on Classic to level 0, because back in the day, max level was 30. So you start at 0 and you go back up to 30, like back in the day. And you unlock rune pages at like level 15. So my first few matches, I'm playing against people who probably have their rune page, and I don't have it. But it doesn't matter. You still play. We still won some games,
Okay, that's good to know.
And so that's fun.
I was worried about that.
And the rune pages, you could do dumb shit. I remember I made all 100 of my runes or whatever, because you can like make them whatever you want. I think I made all of them movement speed at one point when I was a teenager. So I was significantly faster than everyone else. And it didn't matter. It was just fun. And so I miss that in Modern League. It has, in my eyes, what makes a game fun, especially a multiplayer game, is the insanity of it. And that's coming from me as a Team Fortress player. I get it. That's why the MOBA I play the most is Deadlock and all this other stuff, right? But truly, old League captured that chaos, like controlled chaos of a multiplayer match, It was fun to play Call of Duty back in the day when there'd be the one guy 360 no-scoping. Them like nerfing quickscoping in modern COD because it hurts the competitive scene sucks. I really hate stuff like that. I hate a game balancing its casual audience around the competitive scene. It should be the other way around, in my opinion. The competitive scene should deal with what the casual audience has, because you're the one who's grinding the game for a living. Like, I want to be able to... I remember to this day, I would play Ezreal, and one of the nice things they've done with new Classic League is, back in the day, for the unks in chat, if you wanted to play a role in League, you typed it in chat. And if you didn't type as fast as somebody else,
it was
tough shit.
Somebody would
You're
take
playing
it,
whatever
like,
didn't get
I called
picked.
it first.
And then people would quit, and then it takes forever to get a match. They did add the role queue from Modern League. Great call. I did not want to be having a macro on my computer to type my role out like I used to have when I was 14. I say, hey, I want to play... Also, what's really nice, unlike Modern League, where it's like you have to pick 2, so you have to pick 2 roles or whatever, you have to say I want to be ADC or mid, it lets you rank all of them. So it's like your number 1 is this, but then like you could play any of them, but it doesn't always. The matches happen really fast because you could get put into anything technically, but it tries its best to balance it. So them changing little stuff like that I think is fine. I'm sure there's a Reddit post already that's like, I missed the typing the roles. Let's be honest, get over it. Like, it's nicer to say, I want to play bot lane. I don't want to type the word bot as fast as I can. That sucks.
No, it's true. That sucked, because also if your computer was like slightly slower,
my computer sucked.
Loading in, you would load in and everybody called their roles,
typed it,
and you're fucked.
I had to play support. so much, and I didn't want to.
Right.
I didn't want to at all.
That was a thing. That was a real problem. And I remember there were plenty of times where people would hold our game hostage in
Dude,
character
yes.
select, where it was like, if you do not give me ADC, I will throw the game and I will feed the entire time and I'll go AFK. And then somebody would just have to be a hero and like take the time penalty and just like leave the game and be like, oh, thank God. Thank
'cause
God they left before we were about to go into
They were
that.
way more ruthless on bans back then. They've loosened up. Back then, it was like if you
Right.
skipped a match, you were banned for like an hour, and that's essentially
Right.
the length of a match. In the older balance of League. So it was like, oh my God,
Right.
it was brutal.
Whole match gone.
An hour.
Yep.
Are
Yeah.
they still that long?
I
Or
haven't
is it
gotten
more like
banned yet.
40?
Oh
No.
Classic.
I meant
Oh
the
no.
matches.
It's like 15 minutes is your first warning, and that's after
Oh.
that's like your third strike too.
No. Like how long is the match?
Oh,
Oh,
of
usually
Modern
what,
League?
30, 45 minutes?
Yeah,
like
Modern
that?
League is about
Okay.
30 minutes, and they have like an accelerated mode now too, where it's like 15. So you can play a Modern League match pretty fast. My classic match I played earlier was
Yeah.
about 40 minutes, so it is a little longer than Modern
Okay,
League matches.
40 minutes. That's
It's the
what I
slower
remember
pace.
though. That
Yeah.
they would take 40 minutes.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, surrender at 20 was usually the halfway point
That
for
was how they
old
designed
league.
it. Yeah.
And so, you're about halfway done. If you're getting stomped the fuck out, they gave you the
Surrender at
option to
20.
surrender midway, around midway of the game.
Right, so you don't have to
Yeah.
stay for another 20 just getting
So you don't have to suffer through
blasted.
getting stomped out. You're like, all right, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let's just surrender. And so yeah, that was the thing back then.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you could still surrender early now, but
Yeah.
yeah, typically 20 minutes kind of marked your halfway point,
Yes.
and then yeah, by 45 minutes to an hour, you were kind of like near the very end of the game.
Yeah.
Everybody was full build by then,
Oh,
for
100%.
sure. I mean, and again, sometimes old league would be everybody's full build, and games could go up to an hour and a half because it was a
yeah.
war of attrition of just like nobody was winning. Like the team fights would go on, and everybody would get wiped out, or like one person would survive, and they just couldn't push anything because
Right.
there were
That was
like
the
super
magic of the game,
minions, and there was
low-key.
no time. It was like intense. But there was like the adrenaline of it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It is a bit long though nowadays. I don't know if I
Oh,
can
yeah, I
Nowadays,
don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's an
like
unk take.
status.
Yeah.
it is an unk take of
The
The
like
shorter attention
you don't want to
span does
play
not enjoy it.
2 straight hours of this shit. You're
And that's the
pussy.
thing
Nah.
too, with the balancing being so bad. If the games went long, it was like you just knew you were fucked and you were trapped if you couldn't surrender for this whole match. And they low key. If I have one complaint, here's my personal complaint. They have added certain quality of life features that Modern League has to Classic League. So, for example, you can use the classic skins in the Classic League matches for free, so that all the characters can look like the old ones. If you bought modern skins, you can use them. I think it looks a little wonky because they're like shell shaded and super pretty against this old ass background, but some people still do it.
Right.
Like, your $100 RE skin, you want to flex it. Yeah, I get it. Right? One of the things they've brought over though is the emote system, which allows, characters to emote against each other and like do little animations or like specific little flash ups, right? That enemy players can do to each other to taunt, right? Classic League is already so toxic because of the slow pace. I had this happen to me today. We had a Twitch that was running like just destroying everybody in the whole lobby, just running around the whole map. And he was so fast that no one could catch him. Because like I said, you can build a rune page to be whatever. So he was max movement speed. So he was zooming. And I remember at one point I was trying to chase him down. He stopped, typed get good, and did the thumbs up emote and then ran away. You could never have done that in Classic League. Them adding that, I'm like, you've created a demon. Like, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to crash out really hard.
Oh, that is devious.
Them leaving the emote system in, I was like, oh, you shouldn't have done this. It's going to be bad.
That's fun.
It's going to be
Yeah,
real
that's
bad.
I can imagine with Master Yi with his ult running around.
Oh my god. Master Yi is so good.
Yi,
Again,
bro.
dude, just the R, time to delete the whole team.
Yeah.
Insane. But it's been fun.
So I wanted to make. I was talking about this with you, Willis, a bit before
Mhm.
the podcast, but sort of like a counterpoint because
Mhm.
now we are seeing all these games. Sort of, you could argue maybe WoW started a trend with the
Mhm.
class when they released Classic, but
Yeah.
the resurgence of old school RuneScape and now with League Classic, because I'm not in the League community. Who was asking for this? But I assume probably a lot of people were, right?
Yeah.
And when WoW was facing that similar dilemma, they initially rejected the community's calls to bring back the vanilla server.
Mhm.
And they were like private servers, and there was clearly a lot of interest in these, right? And it was brought up at a BlizzCon where, hey, will you ever bring vanilla or vanilla WoW back? And initially they were like, no. And there was a comment, it's like, you think you do, but you don't. And
I
it was
remember that.
you remember that, right? And it was memed on so hard because it's like, oh, they're out
Yeah.
of touch, they don't understand. I don't think they're wrong though. That's my hot take. I don't think Blizzard
Ooh.
was wrong. Now, obviously, Classic was a huge success for them, and they
Yes.
should have done it, and they did. They eventually did. They eventually
Yeah.
came around to it. But the thing with bringing back, it doesn't actually apply to old school RuneScape, but the thing with bringing back Classic League or Classic WoW is like, okay, fine, you brought it back. A lot of people come back. They're like, oh my god, the nostalgia, right? This is so great. You're playing it, and it's great for like a while, right? But at a certain point, you're kind of done, right? In WoW, everyone came back. You did all the quests you remember you did as a kid. You got to level 60. You do the raids, and then what? Well, okay, so then Blizzard had to figure out, okay, everyone's like leveled up. They did everything now, right? So now
Mhm.
what? It's been 2 years. Everyone had a blast, but how do you like keep this going, right? Because it's like, so what
Update the
Blizzard
game.
did. Well, see, that's where Blizzard and RuneScape differed. Because what Blizzard
Yeah.
did is, okay, we finished Classic, so we're just gonna do Burning Crusade Classic,
Yeah.
which is the second expansion, actually the first expansion. So now, okay, we're playing Burning Crusade, and that went well too because people loved Burning Crusade, so that was a blast. But then Burning Crusade is done. Okay,
Yeah.
we're bringing back
Exactly.
Wrath Classic. That was huge. Wrath
Mm.
was the peak of World of Warcraft. Oh my god. Okay, but eventually people will do the content and they'll be done, right? Oh, okay. Cataclysm Classic. Okay, what are we doing now? It's not Classic anymore. You're in Cataclysm. And now
Yeah.
they had missed the Pandaria Classic. At a certain point, you just went
You're
back
gonna
and you're just
catch up.
retracing. So it's like, this is not Classic. Like, this is not what people wanted. And I think that's what Blizzard was thinking of initially. It's like, you think you do, but you don't. It's like, yeah, you think you do. You're going to play around for however long, but then eventually you're going to stop because it's like, okay, that was fun. I had my nostalgia fix. I'm going to move on now, right? And
Yeah.
game companies that do this have to consider this seriously, which is where old school, I think, did it really well. Where, okay, fine, you guys want old school back, here you go, but now it's gonna, when you're done, okay, how do we continue? Old school is now developing in a separate trajectory based on community feedback. There's like polling you can do, and it's not following the trajectory that they did with the modern RuneScape. Old
Mhm.
school RuneScape is now branching out into
Yes.
its own thing with new content that was never added originally. And soon you're going to see the same thing with World of Warcraft, where people they're done with Classic, right? This is what Blizzard initially talked about. So now they're like, we want Classic Plus, which is like Classic, but it branches
Exactly.
out into its own thing. And I think that's sort of what we think we're going to hear from Blizzard very soon, is what does this quote unquote Classic Plus looks like, where it's modeled more after, like, and maybe it'll be modeled more after old school RuneScape. But then that brings me back. So what would League do? Because, okay, this is great. It's a lot of fun. I might even try it. But after a couple months or a year, is it still going to be a thing? Are people still going to be
Yeah.
playing?
It's tough to say. So I think one of the things that bothers me about it is, and one of the complaints that they've had a lot about it, is focusing it around season 3's like balance patch, essentially, by adding, how would I say it? They've essentially taken the old models and the old balancing, but applied it to the current League engine. That's how they've done this. Because they don't have the old League engine. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't exist anymore for one reason or another, right? So they've essentially said, okay, well, this was exactly how characters played back then. So balance the characters to they do this damage, their ability does this. You know what I'm saying? You essentially just you add the old animations back in because they have those, right? But they're essentially putting old animations onto current versions of the character, changing the skin and changing their balance, right? In order to achieve this. That means that while you are playing something that is 95% close to Classic League, there is certain things like movement tech, things people do, ways things function, that won't play exactly the same. You know, you are essentially playing a recreation of Classic League of Legends versus actually like how when you play WoW, it's like the exact same style of server. You know, like the server tick's the same, all this. You have modern server tick. You know what I'm saying? Back then, League used to be like 30 FPS. You know, that's not, it's 60 FPS. So some of the frame inputs are different and things like that. So part of me wonders, what's the point of getting so close and just not going all the way? You know, like this is clearly a game mode, as Mark points out, that's going to be for a specific audience, myself, who is nostalgic and just wants to play the old version, right? Especially in a casual sense. So I don't understand the point of, and this is also not talking about Riot's bullshit where they monetize everything and all this other stuff. Obviously, it sucks that they've gone, hey, look, classic skins. Also, you have to pay for all of them again, too. You know, it's just like, you know, and it's a separate purchase, even if you owned it in the main game. It's League Classic. It's a separate thing. Like, it's like, okay, go fuck yourself, right? But it's Riot Games. People who were shocked they did that, I think you're almost missing the mark, you know? I do think as time goes on and only the hardcore people start to play it, I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. I think they should start adding in... Honestly, here's my take. League Classic should be the nostalgia game mode, and it should stay exactly on Season 3. They should not change it any further. I mean, maybe you could add a few other patches in, but I think... Yeah, like, you could maybe add Jinx, but, like, she got added, and then they changed the game, like, 6 months later. So it's like...
Right.
What's the point in adding, like, end-of-life Jinx? You know, like, it's kind of weird, you know? Especially considering the roster's at a perfect 60. I don't think they'll do that. I think they should just add back other old game modes. So, like, right now, it's just Classic, which is Standard Summoner's Rift 5-on-5.
Tree line,
that's what I was going to say.
3v3.
Bring back the 3v3 mode. League, a lot of people don't know this, used to have King of the Hill. They used to have a King of the Hill mode. Bring that back. They should start bringing back all the other Classic game modes. I get it right now. They've got the current one running, and they just want to stick with that. That's fine. And I enjoy that they added the new ARAM Mayhem mode, which allows you to have a faster pace of those versions, right? It's not perfect, but it's there, essentially. I think that's fun. Add more. Add the alternate maps. League back in the day used to have multiple maps. Used to have seasonal maps. They changed the map for Christmas and Halloween and Easter and all these other holidays. You know, bring those back. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not on the holiday. Like, do you know how many people would boot up Classic League even for a week if you were like, the Christmas map is back? Like, I would do that in a heartbeat at Christmas time. I'd be like, yo, I remember finishing my high school finals, hopping on Skype with my friends and playing League, and it had the Christmas map that had snow and like the Santa like goes, oh ho ho, as you sign it. Like, that's fun, you know? Them getting rid of that really sucked. This is the perfect chance to have seasonal stuff like that again. I would want to see that.
And I think, yeah, like, so, you know, that's what I always think about. Not that I, like, me as a consumer, I particularly care about what a company has to figure out and deal with, but it's true that when these companies, the community wants to play these old modes, you know, and well, okay, we'll bring back the old mode, but will you stick around for a year, 2 years? It's like, obviously not, especially if it doesn't update, right? Because I mean, imagine even the modern games. Like, would you play Modern League or Modern World of Warcraft if it never updated again? Well, no. It's like, but then that's the problem with these classic modes, because you're going back in time. And it's like, oh my God, you relived the nostalgia, but you're probably only going to do that for a little bit, then you'll move on to your other games, right? So it's like, well, what do? Do you just then let that game mode die? Because it will. So then you have to update it. Okay, but then how do you update it, right? And then I think that's where
it's tough.
You see all these different ones handling it a bit differently. And I think based on I mean, probably financially, World of Warcraft did it fine, but I think most people are kind of at a point where it's like, well, what are we doing here? So it's like, okay, you
No,
managed to
100%.
drag this along for a couple expansions. So now World of Warcraft is like, okay, well, maybe we gotta do what old school RuneScape did, which I think arguably is the most successful. I was showing you guys that chart earlier that it's been, and I didn't even realize this because I knew old school RuneScape has been pretty popular for a couple of years now, but within the last year, it's been exploding, and it's like, in part because they brought it back, but not only that, they've updated it on its own. It's its own thing. It's supported, and obviously these are two very different games. But I'm just curious, like, League Classic is back. What will this look like in a year or two? Will it still be around? Will it be a dead mode, or maybe, like you said, there's nothing wrong with maybe because it's more of a casual intended game that people come back for casual reasons, like the seasonal events or a new
that's
game
what
mode.
I was
I think
saying,
that's fine too. Yeah.
But that's where
and
I'm
I think
confused.
It's fine. It's just one of those things.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just like people just come back on occasion, right? It's like, so you'll probably play for like, several days or a couple weeks, but then you'll stop, right? But then it's like, oh, this new map is back or a new mode is back. It's like, oh, cool.
Halloween
then you
map.
play for a couple more days.
Let's do it.
I think that would work for them, and I think that probably makes the most sense for something like League
And then you
Classic.
can use the modern Halloween skins on the holiday map, which is cool, I think.
Right.
Again, a lot of that stuff went by the way for competitive reasons. It's like Summoner's Rift can't look different because then we get confused, right? It's like whatever. But that's also where I'm confused is I assumed League Classic would be a casual mode. Like it would just be, oh, hey, look, nostalgia. But I think their plan for an update path is to add ranked in 2 months. And I'm like, I don't understand why. Why would you have 2 ranked modes? I don't know. It would be interesting, I guess, because people want to play competitively on the old balance. But I don't know. You're going to start having people hopping from one ranked mode to the other. That's going to be interesting.
That's tricky. That's tricky. Because, that'll be interesting.
I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that. That seems really weird. And again, it feels like this classic thing is just, hey, this shit is unbalanced and whatever, but it's for fun. When it's for fun, you can entertain like, I got shit on, whatever. That's the name of the game.
Next.
But when you put ranked into it, well, ranked naturally, it's going to be more competitive, and you're going to end up in the same problem of, what is the build? What is the best way to be stronger, faster? How am I going to beat
classic
these guys?
mode practicing for ranked mode? Because that's what happens in League all the time. You want to play a casual match, and then somebody's like, no, this is my warm-up, bro, lock in. And you're like, ugh. Like, come on, dog.
So it's like where do you have fun? Like, why are there always sweats?
So that's that is my worry. Separate of, like, again, other things I saw, like when I booted it up, it was like classic mode, and then it was like, do you want to see our classic battle pass? I was like, okay, like, just love that. That's thanks, Riot. Thanks, Riot Games. Go fuck yourself. But like, all of that is, rough.
Hey, they're not doing this out of the goodness out of their hearts.
No. Riot Games, hell no, dude.
Nobody ever does.
They're not doing this for the community. They're dollar signs here.
I can assure you, they will. It's a modern day company. They will fucking every celebrity you've ever loved. They will pull their dead bodies out of the ground and puppet them on strings for money, to be like, hey, you remember this guy? It's him. Give me your money, kind of thing. So anything that's nostalgia right now, they just know that people are yearning for, things from back then. But then again, this is a problem that exists in everything, in every form of art or media, is that. So, and I'm going to use wrestling as an example.
Well, who'd have thought?
As you can see. One of the things about wrestling is that if you ever wanted to meet a fan base that frankly is very opinionated and anything you ever do is wrong, anything, it's the wrestling community, like online, the internet wrestling community. Never engage with them because you're never going to get anything productive out of it. But one of their main gripes is that modern wrestling sucks. It was better when so-and-so was wrestling. They should do things like back when it was doing that.
Yeah.
And it reminded me, because Mark just said it with WoW, where it's like, okay, you guys want the classic. Here's the classic. But then it's like, all right, where do we go from here? Here's the next part of that, and the next part of that, and then you
And you
catch up to modern time,
Exactly.
and then it's like you're in this cyclical like Ouroboros of just.
Yes.
So what
yes.
are you gonna do now? You're gonna do a reboot of the reboot now?
WoW did do that. We went back to Burning Crusade. They did that. They went back.
So everything was better 20 years ago, okay? But then when you do everything for 20 years ago, what are you gonna get 20 years from now?
Right.
It's what you just did from 20 years ago, and it's just like, so no one's ever gonna do anything like new. It's always just going to be this cyclical, like, oh, remember when this was good and whatever. But I think that's just a human thing, because there are fucking Sumerian tablets from like thousands of years ago that are literally complaining about, oh my god, the generation is so disrespectful, and these new kids are such little shitheads. I remember back in my day, it was
time is a flat circle.
It's a human thing. It's a human thing that our generation, when we were growing up,
you're peeking the mic again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I get too emotional about this, but it's like our generation. It's like when we were growing up, our generation was a great one, and it's this generation that's shit. But then and so on and so forth until
it happens.
The beginning of the first human. So I think it's the same way with gaming. It's the same way with anything where it's
100%.
like if you try anything new, literally anything new, you will have a chunk of people. I'm not going to say it's a minority, but it's like there will just always be people that are going to say, this sucks. I remember when it was good back in the day. And then back in the day, people will say, this fucking sucked. I remember Dota. And then somebody back in the day is going to go, this fucking sucked. I remember Warcraft.
Yeah,
kind
that's all
of
it
thing.
ever is.
So that's it. History is just onks complaining about how this shit sucks right now, and it was better when I was happier. And I don't think it was just better. I think it was just we were happier, and life was simpler back then. And I think that's literally all it is. So that's just a funny thing to think about. But yeah, I mean, however, that's not to say that it's not a legitimate thing to be concerned about. Of where do you go from here? But I think, again, the old school RuneScape model is great because it went, here's the nostalgia that you want, that you clearly like, but instead of just regurgitating and then catching up and then you end up right where you started, it's like, hey, we're going to branch out. But it takes risk, right? Because that's not been done before. Everything that old school RuneScape does now has not been done before. It's a new thing. And of course there's going to be people that are going to complain about it. And there's probably people right now going, why is there a sailing skill in old school RuneScape? I remember back when it was so easy and there were less skills and all this bullshit. It's just, I don't know, kill them. Just start killing these people. Just execute them. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, listen, that's a great point. I agree. Just kill them. No. That's obviously a joke. Legal reasons. But if you do enjoy taking risks and liking unks complaining, then you should subscribe to watch more episodes of the COFY Cast.
You should take a risk and smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button. Follow on Twitch. We'll leave it there, I think. That's a great wrap-up point.
Leave a like on YouTube.
Exactly. Share with your friends. That always makes a huge difference, hitting that share button. So, yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday, live as per usual, around 4:30, 5:30 EST. And we'll be talking about games and complaining, just like this one. So, take care, everybody. Much love. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.